to their amazement, it did not go the way they had expected. And because they are very strong in the Lord, they kept their shoulders high and their heads high until everything was over. And when everything was over, they came to us and they confided in us, in pain. And they told us everything that happened. The people that they had expected to be there in their whatever that God had said they must do, they were not there. And this broke their heart. And remember, I said these are servants of God, and this happened inside the church. And this was just to show how much this word has come at the right time, when Christ says there is no love in Christians anymore, but hatred. There was nothing much we could do. We thank God for the grace of inquiry. And we advise them that maybe you must inquire, because remember, this grace, we thank the Lord that it's not for this church alone. It is for the whole world. Of which they did. What happened? What really happened? And the response came back. You need to know that it is not everyone that loves you. And remember, this is something that happened in the church, where you expect that we are brothers and sisters, and when we see one another, you see a brother, you see a sister. And the response came that you must know, it's not everyone who loves you. And these are committed people. And they came back. This is the answer we got. And we could see that these people are crushed. They are broken. And as we were listening, a scripture dropped into my spirit. That in spite of everything that has happened, you need to remember what Christ says in his word in Matthew 5:44. He says, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. And when I read this scripture, I was reminded again of what Christ said to us as a church. That this is the time where Christians will be persecuted. And children of God, many a times we take persecution out of context. You know, when you are being hated right in the house of the Lord, that is persecution at its best. You are being persecuted right where you are supposed to find solace, where you are supposed to find comfort and protection. And that is exactly where you get to be persecuted. By the very people that when you leave your home, you say, I'm going to fellowship with my fellow brethren in the Lord. Christ says we need to be encouraged, that we need to love one another. It is important that we love one another. When I continue to communicate with this couple and I ask them, how are they doing now? One thing that stole my heart was when they said, we have learned something from this experience. We have learned that everything that happens for a reason. And the reason that we can only find from all this is that Christ is teaching us to love even when it hurts. It hurts to love. Because when you love, you don't just love the people that love you. You love even those that hate you. You love them in spite of anything, in spite of everything. Because Christ says you need to love one another as I have loved you. It was not easy for Jesus Christ to be betrayed by one of his own. it was not an easy thing.